Last night I was having a dream of intense lovemaking with my anime waifu. Right before the climax she whispered in my ear, CGI anime adaptation. I started shaking, broke out into cold sweat, and of course woke up with a sad wiener. And I'm sure most of you would have a similar reaction. I mean, CGI and anime are much like the races. They should never be mixed. At least, that's what I believed until I came across Land of the Lustrous. Holy moly, it's motherfucking Scamboli, and I'm not gonna give a reason why I didn't upload, I just didn't feel like it. Anyway, let's talk about Houseki no Kuni, or Land of the Lustrous, if you have a life. I'm gonna give a bit of a vague summary because I feel like the show is so much better enjoyed when you know nothing about it. We're left in a world with no humans. Instead, the world is inhabited by sentient and immortal gems. Our protagonist being Phos, a fun-loving and clumsy gem. Actually, the gems are genderless. Shut the fuck up. She and her fellow gems are hunted by creatures from the moon for some reason. You'll spend this season piecing together the truth of what happened to Earth, its inhabitants, and the truth of the moon people. You're probably gonna notice that the story is extremely weird, and that's such a refreshing thing. A lot of stories have been done before. We're playing a game where we might get killed. I want to be the best martial artist. What stands out about Land of the Lustrous is that we're in a new world. We have to learn how each creature interacts with each other, all that type of stuff. I was immediately hooked and relieved after reading the first chapter. And once I started, there's no stopping. The elements of the mystery are really strong to the point that I wished I could experience it for the first time again. And the story never gets too comfortable with itself. It doesn't keep doing the same thing. Once one conflict is resolved, two more pop up and the plot thickens. So overall, I have to say the story is really good. If you're into shonen, there's some cool fights. If you're into mystery, the show is addicting as hell because of it. And it's a pretty sweet ride. Land of the Lustrous explores the Theseus paradox. If you replace every part of a ship, is it still fundamentally the same ship? Without spoiling too much, phos is forced to change after being stagnant for hundreds of years. So even if you passionately hate her for some reason like this Indian dude, you won't by the end of the season. The rest of the characters are hard to dislike aside from one or two gems. But beside that, everyone is cool and has their own quirks. One thing I thought was interesting was how since they're immortal, the gems don't change much. Some of them have been around for thousands of years, so why the fuck would they change? This makes phos's development much more impactful. That's pretty much all I gotta say about that. CG is fucking disgusting. I had to stop watching Berserk because of it. Most of the time when it's used in animation, the frame rate is either too fast or too choppy, and it breaks your immersion. With all that being said, I can say in confidence that Land of the Lustrous is an anime that had to be made in CG. The scenery is beautifully done and allows for some interesting one-take shots. There are some scenes that I just can't be seeing done in 2D, like this fight scene. I also can't see the beauty of the gems sticking out in a non-CG environment. Little details like the light shining through Phos's hair really make the show. The character models don't move weird, and it's just a really pretty anime in my opinion. So, in closing, even if you hate CG as much as I do, give it a chance. You really stop giving a fuck after the first episode. Music is a really good strong point of the show. If you're fond of some of the music in Breath of the Wild, there's some similar tracks in here. When the Lunarians are on screen, there's this really unnerving song that completely matched my feeling while reading the manga. Another thing that I want to bring attention to is its opening. I don't give a single fuck about openings. In fact, I've only ever listened to one all the way through in Ergo Proxy, Tokyo Ghoul, and coincidentally this show. When I was legally downloading this episode, I overheard this opening and immediately fell in love. It's visually and sonically pleasing and gets stuck in my head. Anyway, I'm getting off track. The music throughout the show is really nice and sweet. It fits the aesthetic of the show. I'm just gonna save you some time. You will know after the first episode whether or not this is the show for you. In my case, it instantly had me hooked and only got better with every episode. However, if you're not into that for whatever reason, I don't think this show is for you. I think it's a great show and you should definitely give at least one episode a shot. However, it does end on a cliffhanger, so my verdict is watch the show and then read the manga. If you're new to reading, I'll drop a link in the description. That's it. That's the video. I thought this was a good video to make because one of my favorite mangas, The Beastars, is going to be animated by this studio. I don't know why it's CG, but I'm going to love it anyway. That's all I gotta say. Bye.